good morning everybody. Welcome to Spain. This is the final day of training here at the Iberian Masters in Spain. I personally have only had one other day training here, or practice, as people back home prefer me to say, instead of training. And the venue's fishing tough. We knew it was going to be fishing hard anyway, it always does. We've got quite a bit of cloud cover today. Yesterday was absolutely red hot. Probably tell by the red neck and everything. We had loads of sun yesterday, and they have forecasted it to get hot going into Saturday and Sunday, I believe. I think it's going to be windy on Saturday, but then I've been told that Sunday, whilst it is going to be hot, I think the wind is going to drop as well. But that's the forecast, obviously, so we don't know if that's what's going to happen. So this year I've gone for a smaller vehicle. The first couple of years I was here, I had really nice vehicles, really nice on the motorways and everything. However, as you can see, this road behind the pegs can be quite tight in places. This is probably one of the best spots anyway, so this is probably as wide as you're going to get it. But there are some areas, certainly down there, where it's really tight to pass each other, and that was one of the issues with having a larger vehicle. So this year I've gone for a smaller vehicle. I've only got one set of gear in here. However, I have got all of my gear in here. So the first year I came here I used an F25 seat box, much more compact. However, this year I've got everything with me. Okay, so just so you know, that's what vehicle we've got. It's obviously hired here from the airport, from Alicante airport, and it's absolutely rammed. I've just about measured it right. So as you can see, I mean, that speaks for itself. There isn't much more room in there. Okay, you could get a few things in there, but I've got my main seat box here to make that much more compact, just like I do on the trolley. I've got my bait bag in there, and just obviously packs away nicely. I've got some snacks and drinks for the bank, which is very important. I've got my big main hold all in there, carry all. All right, that's the main one that I use back home, and I think I've got 6 rods in there set up. That matrix bag there, that's with all Dad's bits in, with his clothing and stuff. In this one here, Dad's there, just arrived, he's been for breakfast. And in here we've got, obviously that's the casting mat, which we use to keep the upholstery clean. Very useful, but we do need the casting mat, which I'll show you once I get set up. Stink bag in there, I've got my side trays in there, the self-supporting side tray fits in there. I've got my EVA cover in there. Nets, a really useful carry bag. Dad's chair's there in case he wants to come and sit outside here with me. He did yesterday, he got some sun yesterday. And then in this side I've got my main, that's my compact carry-all, so that's got everything in there, all my hooks, my feeders. That's the one that I use back home with all my bits and bobs in. And then this bag is basically been a bait bag. Ironically, this bag, well, I'll say ironically, one of the features is it is acting as a cool bag. I've got quite a bit of bait in there that I'm rolling over each day, and that obviously means that I can keep it nice and cool. Today's not going to be an issue with that, but yesterday it was red hot, and that just means you're going to be able to keep your bait in tip-top condition. So, much more compact vehicle, but it does the job, and obviously because it's smaller, it's easier to get around, and if cost is an issue, it's certainly a lot cheaper to hire a car like that. So my plan for today is basically just fish, basically. Make sure I've got all my rods set up and everything. I'm going to be putting a couple of lines in. I'm going to be fishing across. I'm going to put a line in about 3/4, just see what happens there. I've got the inside line to explore as well. The rest of the English lads, we were the last ones to the bank today. I've had a nice bit of a relaxing breakfast with Dad today, because the next 3 days are going to be quite chaotic. But then going around the corner, that's where all the English lads are. They're all in a row going around that bend. This is C2. So going up there is B section, so they're all practicing there today together, which is where I was yesterday, but there's no room up there now, so I'm just going to drop in here, get my kit ready. So once I've done all that, I'll just quickly show you the layout and everything, and the kind of kit that we're using, what we're going to be using, hopefully, over the weekend. Well, that's only taken about 20 minutes, half an hour to get everything sorted. It's amazing that when you come on a trip like this, the first day that you're here, particularly when you've had your kit either driven over or if you'd flown here, that first day is just really kind of finding out where everything is, because you have to pack everything slightly different from what you would do if you were fishing a match back home. So yesterday was just getting it in match order, ready for the next 3 days of competition, because some of this kit is not stuff that I'd always take to the peg. Some of it lives in the hotel room. It's all my spares. You might have spare lines, spare hooks, all your hook tying stuff. Obviously you don't take all that to the bank with you. So I've thinned everything down now, and I'm set up and I'm ready to go. So let me just show you the peg and everything, just to give you a feel for what it's like. So I'm actually fishing C2. That is the number of the match peg. In case you're wondering where the permanent markers are, that is the marker next to it, just to give you an idea if you do know the venue of where I actually am. So that's C2, C1 is that way, and that's going up to B section round the corner, and then up to A section, and then down here, next peg is C3, and that's going right the way down to C23, which goes right down there to where the bridges are. Now there are pegs in between the bridges this year. Normally, the peg right next to that bridge there would normally be the end peg, and then there would be a gap of about 8-10 pegs, maybe more, to the next bridge, which is where D section would start. However, this year, you could probably just make out there are some anglers in between the bridges, so that is no longer a renowned flyer now, or it's certainly not a fancied peg now, because it's no longer an end. So, I've got the car behind me, Dad's in there, just catching up on a bit of sleep, I think, and this peg is right next to some of the steps. These steps are intermittently down this bank, but even if you're not on steps, the maximum walk you're going to have is only probably, I don't know, 3-4 pegs, that's all it is. So there's one peg missed out there. However, there is some tattle there. Somebody's just dropped some tattle off there, so these pegs are going to be filled, which is good. So I don't really want to be sat on my own with nobody around me, and there is an angler at the next peg. So I've just got 2 rods set up. So as you know, I've got the big main rod all. I'm only setting 2 rods up today, just to cover 2 different lines, because they're things that I want to focus on. I've got the 4.5 metre power XR power landing net handle. We are after carp, and a lot of these pegs, as you can see, you're high off the water, so having a 4.5 metre net will help you, or help you reach the water anyway. And I've got a large carp net on there, because some of the fish on here were caught up to probably 14-15 pound yesterday. I've got a casting mat there. That's because my rig is going to be coming about here, so that is just going to stop my rig and everything getting caught in this wire and all this vegetation. So it just means that if I do go back a little bit further, we are fishing 50cm hook lengths, it just means that I won't get caught on anything, and it shouldn't hinder the cast. A couple of trays there. We are going to be using sticky mag. Okay, nice, they're just nice compact trays for carrying with this. I've got a bait bag there, water bucket, sorry, which is very very useful, you know, when you're so far off the water. Makes it safe for getting your water as well. I've got the stink bag there, obviously for my nets and things. That is the main bait bag, insulated there. There's all sorts in there, some spare hemp and corn and stuff. Nice simple setup. One side tray, got it covered up. We don't know if the sun's going to be coming out today, but we had to have that covered up because of the sun. Atomizer, we are using sticky mag, so that'll help with that. I've got a selection of hook lengths there to go through. Those are all specialised to this venue, so they're not ones that I would normally carry back home. And that is just a box of feeders. Carry all nice and handy to hand. I've got sticks marked up at 2 metres, just because 3 metres isn't wide enough to get them in properly here, so just having a 2 metre measure just makes it a little bit easier. And the 2 rods, identical really, apart from the line. So the rods that I brought, I'm going to be fishing on all lines, is a 12-foot Horizon Pro distance, okay, rated at 90 gram, and that is it. That is the same rod I'm using on every single line. Okay, so I've got multiple of those set up, and I've got the XR 3000 and 3500 reels that I'm using. One is with 8 pound, that's the one that I'll be using to cast across with, and then I've actually got one with, as you can see there, the number 10 on. That is 10 pound, and that's the new Horizon Pro line, which is, you know, a lot more durable, just because there are rocks on this inside. So I've got 10 pound on that line, because I'm literally going to be fishing at short range. So just like yesterday, it's just basically a day just to get a feel for it. Most of my kit is actually done for tomorrow, so that's good. All the rods are in there, my duplicate rods are set up. So today it's just going to be fishing until about 2 o'clock, where hopefully I'm going to get a few bites and hopefully spot a pattern or two. It's been nice to catch a few fish. And then at 2 o'clock, this is when we all head back down there to the Fort Delaney Fishing School, which is where everybody meets there, and that is kind of classed as the opening ceremony, which is where they make 1 or 2 speeches, but that's where they go down there for the huge pans of paella. So everyone heads off back down there for some paella. There's some refreshments there as well. You can even have a beer if you wish. And the beautiful thing about that is obviously you get a chance to see everybody else that's fishing the competition, but they do actually put stewards on here as well, so that you can leave your tackle where it is, so it's nice and safe. And if you do want to come back, you know, after an hour or whatever, come back up, you can still fish for another couple of hours if you wish, or you can just kind of get your gear ready for tomorrow, which is first day of competition. So this has just been a bit of an update for you. I will be giving you uploads tomorrow, Saturday and Sunday. It is a 3-day competition, to let you know how it goes. We've got about 13 anglers from England here, but there are loads of anglers from Romania, there's Germany, there's 3 or 4 from Holland. There's just a really nice spread. There's some French anglers here, obviously some Spanish and Portuguese. There are 115 anglers competing, and the midges and things are out now, so that shows you how mild it is at the moment, even though it's overcast. So I'm going to get my head down now, just kind of enjoy a few hours fishing, hopefully catch a few fish. It would be nice to pick up on 1 or 2 things, and then I'll check in with you when we get down there, where we get a chance to go and have something to eat this afternoon, and no doubt Dad will be looking forward to a snack as well at 2 o'clock. So I'll see you back down at the fishing school in Fortaleny, where I'll show you what the opening ceremony is like. Well, as I expected, the fishing is difficult. I've managed 3 fish, but I think 3 or 4 pegs either side of me. I don't think they've even had a bite. That's how hard it's fishing. It's time for some food, but as always, I always like to show you the other half of this match. As you have probably already guessed, the competition that I'm fishing, the Iberian Masters, is the feeder only competition. However, down here, this is what's referred to as the match fishing competition, and that basically means float fishing. So that's pole fishing, and there's some waggler slider fishing, I believe, as well. But let me just show you this stretch, because it's slightly different from where we're fishing. As you can see, the main thing is that it's a lot narrower, you know, and there are features all the way down. And all these anglers here, they're not on the boxes right now because they're up there about to have something to eat. But it's a little bit narrower here. As you can see, it's got a few more features along that far bank, and this is where they do a lot of long pole fishing and slider fishing as well. Again, it's all carp and carasio. And just so you know where we are, this is downstream of where we're fishing, so we are way upstream. The first section going upstream in our competition is section E, and then it keeps going on upstream towards section A. How can you resist that? Fresh out, we just got here in time. Fresh pan's just come out. Dad's ready. Dad's up next. We've timed it just right. Second one's down.
Okay, yummy.
That's beautiful. Gracias, thank you. Look at that. Been looking forward to that. I've got to admit, that was beautiful as always. This is a great start to the event. All the competitors are here. And this is class, Mr. Doxy there, giving us a nod. He's enjoyed his first trip so far. All the different competitors are here now. This is when we really get to see everybody. This is where they do it's not really an opening ceremony, it's just like an official opening to the event. And right at the bottom there is where all the I think that's where the third tray, or the third dish of paella has just come out. And everyone's just going to stop here for about another half hour or so, and then they'll all return to the pegs and start getting the kit ready for tomorrow. For those of you that are unfamiliar with what a carasio is, that is a carasio. There are a few feeding, not enough to really win with. You're still going to need proper carp, but they are obviously a lovely bonus. Well, we're in the last few minutes of practice, and the Spanish lads up to my left have really struggled, but they have just hooked a couple of fish. Don't know if he's lost that one or not. No, it looks like it's still on, unless they've both been into fish, but one of them has just lost a fish as well. So yeah, it's the late show. That wind's got up a little bit, it has changed now. Lad on my left here, he had his first fish about an hour ago. He's had 1 carasio, that is it. I've ended up on 5 fish. That's my swim for today, and going back down there, there's some Romanians fishing down there. They've had 1 or 2 carp later on as well. So it's been another valuable few hours on the bank. I've just about wrapped up now, it's 5 o'clock. The match times are going to be 12 till 5, so there's not much point in me staying on longer than that. I'm just going to go back now, tie a few hook lengths up. But it's been an interesting session. I've ended up with 5 fish. I caught the first couple of fish doing pretty much what I would expect to be doing in this match, you know, with the usual sticky mag business and all that. But then it's just died, which kind of, it's given me the chance to try a few things out. You know, there's a few things that I've never really tried on here, so it's been a perfect opportunity to do that. The reason why I keep looking down there is because my rod is there on the short line at the moment. The drag is undone. Well, yeah, there's hardly any tension on that whatsoever, so I've just left that in. It's been in there 12 minutes now, just while I pack these last few bits away, just in case we get a last gasp fish just before that 5 o'clock finish. So we're going to head back to the hotel. Dad's up there, sat in the sunshine, which is nice. We're going to head back to the hotel now, just get some drinks and stuff from the supermarket on the way there, so that we've got refreshments and snacks for the bankside for the next 3 days. However, as part of this trip, they do on match day actually supply you with a packed lunch, a nice sandwich and some fruit and drinkings and stuff, and they drop those off at your peg before the start of each match over the next 3 days, which is really, really nice. So we don't really have to worry too much about that, because we will be having breakfast in the hotel. You can have a snack on the bank. I never eat during the match, but I usually eat straight after, and then an evening meal in the hotel. So that is really going to be it, the routine for the next 3 days. So what I am going to be doing, I am going to be updating you with how the competition's going. We will all be sat together tonight. The English will all be sat eating together, so we're going to get an idea about what's been caught today, get an idea of how they've been caught as well, and that will hopefully give us some sort of idea of how to approach our pegs tomorrow. But it is an open draw. There are 5 sections, A, B, C, D and E, and it's a random draw each day of the competition. So in theory you could actually draw the same peg 3 days running, but it's quite clear that every single section is fishing hard. You know, the average down here, from what I understand, is about 2 fish per angler. That's the average, and the most I've heard caught is about 7. That's the most I've heard. There may have been a few more caught than that, but there have been blanks as well. Some people have lost every fish they've hooked. Some people have just not had a bite. So that's the Iberian Masters. We know what we're letting ourselves in for. So I don't think that rod's going to go. So I'm going to get packed away, get back to the hotel, get some rest. So if you want to see how we are actually going to be progressing through the next 3 days of this competition, there are 115 anglers competing from all over Europe, then please give this a thumbs up and subscribe to this Fishing Life channel, because this is where the updates are going to be for this weekend's event. So thanks for logging on, everybody. It's great to see so much interest in the event again. I'm hoping to be letting you know, some success, but I'll be letting you know regardless whether it's successful or not about how the competition's going, and I will be showing the results each night as well, right here on YouTube for everyone to see. So thanks for logging on, everybody. Please hit subscribe so you don't miss out on any of these matches, and that'll tell me that you do want to see more of them throughout the rest of the year, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.